This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening, everyone. Just wait a couple minutes to get a few more people in here. All right. Seen a couple new faces pop in here today. What's up, Chris? Kevin Klein, the new guy. How we doing, brother? Awesome, awesome, Brady. What's going on? Hope everyone's having a wonderful Thursday. Give it a few more minutes, let some more people pop in. I know Chris is going to be running a couple minutes. He got caught in some of that Florida traffic. Right, is
You took the child locks off.
we
I
doing,
appreciate
Brady?
that. How you doing, man?
Appreciate it, man. It's been going quite a bit. Got some length going there now.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
Jay-Z?
hey, Chris, what's going on, man?
Anybody?
Can you hear me?
Come on, service.
Oh no.
Somebody say something.
I could hear you.
There you okay.
All
Maybe it was
right.
maybe it's my volume. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I had mine turned down too without realizing it, and I saw the green box, and I'm like, what's going on here?
You're good, man. How's your day going though?
It, it's been a day. It's been interesting. Um, Yeah, when we start getting rolling, we start getting into things. There is something that I wanted to talk about real quick with everybody. I know you've got some things on your agenda that you want to talk about, and hopefully I can kind of lean into that a little bit. But what about you?
Yeah, no, I'm literally stuck in traffic, but I'm on my way to my destination. Guys, if you live in Florida, you probably already know this, but make sure you have um enough time on your hands just to get anywhere. And if you drive a vehicle, just don't let don't ever be close to E. I tell everyone that comes to Florida, especially my family members, well, I'll never let my tank go below half a tank ever in Florida. You just never know where you're gonna get stuck. You just never know.
Hmm, yeah. Dude, I don't know what it is. It's weird. Your mic sounds amazing to be being on the phone right now. Sounds like you're using a professional mic.
Well, it was the iPhone 17. They did update a couple days ago, so I don't know.
Pansy doesn't go anywhere without at least a quarter tank.
That is hilarious. But yeah, thank you guys for joining today. Much appreciated. I know I'm on the road right now, and let me know if I'm going in and out. So I definitely feel bad. I feel bad already because I'm driving. I had to pick up my little one from school. He had to stay out there for other things, and then traffic just got worse today. But you have Jay Z and I today. Angel will not be joining us today, but she definitely says she misses you guys already. Just wanted to let you guys know. Pansy's always great to see you. We got Tim is back in the building. We have Chris, a lot of familiar faces. Great to see you guys back. Bonita. I'm trying to scroll on my phone and try not to get X at the same time. But yeah, guys, well, before we jump into it, I wanted to I just had a question on my mind because I had a meeting this morning and it was actually with one of the owners of PassSplit, and just talking to them on the creative side of things versus traditional, it had my mind thinking about a lot of different things. And that, talking to our team and just what that looks like moving forward, I wanted to open up the conversation with you guys. And because let's be honest, everyone is at different stages of life, whether they have one asset or 100 different assets. And I know I can speak for Jay-Z on this as far as what we're heading and what we're trying to do. I genuinely want to know, and Jay-Z, if you can either unmute so everyone can just actually no, just raise your hand and then you can see who have questions about this. But yeah, truly, I truly want to know, why are you in the co-living space? I truly want to know why we're in the co-living space, because a lot of people, from what we're hearing, just talking to one of the owners of PassSplit this morning and just seeing a lot of feedback on Facebook and why people are actually just going into communities of co-living. It is very interesting to see the answers. Oh my God, you sound like my husband. You should keep at least a quarter. Yes. Yeah. You never know what can happen. Pansy said no plumbing issues.
Nope, not this week. I saw the photo that she posted last time with the basement. All right. Do we have any brave souls? Anybody that has their why?
I see them in the chat. And let me know if I'm missing any. I'm like trying to keep my eyes on the road at the same time.
We got Roxanne is create solutions for affordable housing. Chris Marie to provide affordable options and build community. And that's what we have so far.
Yeah, no, dude. There's truly not a right answer, in all honesty. I'm just curious because we're looking at a spreadsheet that so what PassSplit does is a little bit different, and you guys may or may not know this. They do take in like an intake form with us as operators, understanding specifically why we even want to even join their platform and or why we need their services. Everyone should know that PassSplit is a brand, and when you're looking at PassSplit specifically, you got to see exactly what the pros and cons are and why it would benefit you in your business. And looking at some of the answers, I wasn't shocked. It was just more so it was honest answers, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the transparency from the owners of the company, because a lot of the answer generated around, and you guys probably already know this, it's the shiny object syndrome. John Doe told me to get into co-living, or this person told me to join co-living. And it's great to do that, but what do you truly have a passion for? Like, and that's one thing I always ask everyone I speak to, what do you truly have a passion for? What do you genuinely want to wake up and have fun doing? Me, I can speak for me, and I could probably speak for Jay-Z on this as well, that I'm not a fan of LTRs. It's just I'm not happy when someone says, "Oh, this would be a great long-term rental." Great, not for me. When it comes to the affordable housing, it's amazing, and a lot of people Actually, it's so funny. I had a meeting a couple of days ago. An individual told me that she flat out said co-living is going to be dead in 3 years, just like Airbnb, just like MTRs, and I disagreed with her. I did not agree with that because, and I didn't get upset. I did not say, "Hell, you're completely wrong." Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm not going to shut them down for that. My approach was a little bit different on that conversation, and I want to tell you about this conversation because a lot of times people will just disagree and they feel like, okay, they're having an argument. That's not the case. It's okay to agree to disagree, then also provide valid points. She did provide some valid points of why it would potentially be obsolete, but co-living is not going nowhere, guys. You got to think about, if I put co-living to the side and understand that the way things are adapting in stores, restaurants, merchandises in general, if everyone know they can go to the store right now and potentially pay, if you got an iPhone, with Apple Pay. And the reason I say Apple Pay because Apple Pay is actually going to be rolling out financing options. People are moving to affordability. A lot of people can't pay upfront whatever that may look like. It was so funny because we started talking about rental companies, like rental property management companies versus buying a property and all that good stuff. There's actually a lot of rental companies out there who's switching over to financing. You may have to pay a premium, but you will be able to rent now versus a lot of property management companies are wondering why they can't fill their assets. They market it on Zillow. They market it on HotPad or all these different different great CRMs out there. That they're phenomenal tools. But when it comes to the reality of it, it comes back to affordability. So I know I could speak on this and for actually, Angel and Jay-Z, but we know for a fact it's not going nowhere. It is not going nowhere. And we would continue doing messing around with co-living in different aspects. Yes, it's great to use PassSplit on a high level, but sometimes it's depending on your exit strategy or what you're trying to do when it comes to affordable housing, sometimes PassSplit is not the best option. And that's something we all just got to think about. And just seeing the list of what that looks like, I'm like, Jesus, some of these operators just got in because someone told them to get in, and it's not a bad idea. Sometimes people don't know what to do. Some people don't know which direction, or sometimes they don't know where they fit in. And trying to fit in can also be truly a negative thing because it may feel great for the first couple months, but after 4, 5, 6 months, if you're not happy and you're just going through the motions, you're going to tank real quick. Real quick.
You're not wrong. We didn't lose you, did we? Did we lose you, Chris? I think we might have for a second. He's not wrong. I've definitely spoken to a lot of people that have said that they were getting into co-living because of the money, or somebody else that was telling them to get into it because it's worth it. On the flip side of that, I also have quite a few individuals that I've spoken to, even more recently, on the agent side of things that are wanting to get into co-living, whether it's pad split or it's self-perform in areas that it's not available because of something that they want to do and provide for the market. Sorry, bear with me one moment. Chris just popped back in.
You guys hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Jesus. soon as I went through that tunnel, I'm like, any second now, any second's going to happen. But I just made it back out the tunnel. My apologies, guys. I'm not for sure exactly what part you guys heard, but just the short version of it, guys. Just understanding that affordability is always going to be. I mean, affordability is always going to be there, and understanding that it's not going away when it comes to the um the market, what the need is for it, whether it's in Florida, Illinois, Iowa, Alaska, it doesn't matter. People need somewhere to stay. And talking to this young lady when I was on the Zoom call with her, it was pretty interesting to hear her point of view and her perspective of just things in general, how people are just going to be moving to uh, just want their own space. Like people don't like to have other roommates. It's like air quotes, other roommates in the area, and I agree, and I agree with that because I know me personally, I like my own space. I like my own space. I don't know if I can deal with the sharing a bathroom kind of thing. If I was to do like go test it out, it'll have to be a private bathroom and all this other stuff. It's just everyone doesn't have the same personal hygiene or keep up as the way you may like. So hope you guys understand that. I just want to kind of open that conversation up. And I know Jay Z, you wanted to talk about something with which my apologies. I didn't mean to derail anything. I just that was on
No,
top of my mind, and I want to make sure that people are in co-living for the right thing, not just because someone told them to, but truly that although if somebody did tell them to do it, is it truly what you want to do longevity?
yeah. Actually, I think you kind of hit some of the point on why I was going to share what I was going to share today, Chris. It really does boil down to why are you doing what you're doing? Do you truly understand where you're going at the end of the day? But before I roll into it, Megan has had her hand raised for a couple minutes here. So come on down.
Yeah. So after some recent co-living uh, website experiences, like through other venues or whatever, as I've told James here, what has happened recently with it's brought up some questions with Passport actually because of like this other site that I'm done with. I'm done using them because they're not user friendly and they kind of like last minute tell you, hey, you got a person showing up today to rent your room. I'm like, why are the settings not winning? So I was wondering, a pad split, can you put on there like, hey, can I get notified? Like you can put a setting on there, like say Airbnb, you can put a setting on there for to be they can't book, they can't show up that day or the next day. I have to have at least a 2 days warning for sure. You know, do they have that pad split to give you like, hey, a heads up, or is there a way to set that setting?
Yes. Yes, 100%. You can always they got general settings you can put it at. However, you can always automate your settings in the dashboard to whatever your liking is. Now, I know a lot of people are moving towards VAs and having them set it up and also keep the communication going for the intro to keep that user experience. But when it comes to your initial question, yes, you can put anything and everything that you want in that dashboard. And I know on the IT side or the tech side, probably a Jay Z answer when it comes. So you could definitely integrate it into different things like go high level on other CRMs to ensure that you get multiple notifications. But that's on a higher level, and that's a conversation that maybe probably want to book separate with Jay Z.
Yeah, that and having a good conversation with a rep and seeing if you can get access to APIs. You can
Yeah,
definitely plug it in there.
100%.
But
Also,
no, it is a little bit different than what you've experienced so far, Megan, with Booking.com.
and then Haley, why is it Haley Sean? That confused me when the chat we said, hey Meg. I'm like, who's Haley Sean? Am I like I felt bad. I'm like, am I supposed to know a Haley Sean? It's your middle name. Why is your middle name Sean?
All right. Great. We got Haley confusing people out here now. That's awesome. No, but no, Chris, I'm so glad that you brought that up. The question, truly understanding why it is that why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you in real estate? I was actually presented with an opportunity this last Sunday that is completely different from anything that I thought that, would be presented to me over the 33 years that I've been on this earth. Anybody that does know me that I've had conversations with before in the past, there's a whole nother side of like things that I've never been into in my life. But as I've been getting more and more into the leadership journey, it started a good couple years ago where I really put my head down, focused on a lot of that stuff. I'm starting to notice that when I really do align with the values that I'm after, and when there's something that I want to either improve on within my quality of life or within the business, as long as it aligns with where it is that I want to go, what I truly want to work on, I'm starting to yield results that are actually beneficial. Um, Moving into this part of the story, it's going to be a little bit different. This isn't anything that I'm trying to tell you guys that you guys need to follow one way or another. But I want to say it was last July, I started talking to Angel about this. And I've anybody that's known me longer than, the past year have known that I've never been anybody that's been like truly into religion or anything like that. And I used to take my son on walks during the summer at nighttime, and he saw a sign for Vacation Bible Study, and he just really wanted to go. So we ended up going, and it was a week long, and I think it was the third night there. I ended up meeting the pastor of the church, and we had a couple conversations and started to realize that we had a lot in common. Since July, I have been not only every Sunday going to church, I've also been meeting with the pastor every single Saturday for coffee. And we started inviting other people there. So it's been expanding with the conversation. I've had the pleasure to meet the district superintendent so far at this point. Some of the individuals that actually sit on the chair. One of the chairmen, a wonderful gentleman who's actually local. Uh, the extent of my relationship with the church has been with the pastor. So there's been a lot of stuff that we've been talking about and doing on the back end, on the sideline that nobody really knew about. Most of that has been speaking to him about improving himself, a little bit with his mindset, a little bit with leadership, but also taking a look at the Sunday service and making improvements where he can. And they've started to go really well. We've started to implement a few things. The old organist was gone. We got a new one in there. Energy's a little bit more upbeat. The music's starting to get a little bit better. And the week before last, he had come up to me and he'd asked me if I would be okay with being the liturgist for this past Sunday. And I was like, all right, I've watched, I've sat here on the sidelines. I've watched enough to know what needs to be done, what I'm doing. For those that may not know, basically that puts me at second hand to the pastor during the service. So I get to lead the call to worship. I get to lead the passing of the peace, reading the New and the Old Testament readings before the message is delivered. And this particular Sunday just so happened to be communion as well. So that was my very first time going through the experience of leading that as well. And yes, I made a couple mistakes when I was when I was up there doing the reading. There were things that were meant to be said that I had said earlier on as opposed to later. But after the service, when we made our exit and we walked down and we have to, thank everybody for coming to the service, kind of leave them out the door into the room to have some snacks afterwards. He looked at me and he was like, "Hey, by the way, after you do the reading, this is what you say." And he looked at me for a moment and I said, "Oh, I got that completely backwards. I said that earlier." We both chuckled. It was one of those situations where, like, when you mess up around the right people, they can chuckle about it a little bit, and you talk about next time we're going to do this to make it to do better and not make the same mistakes. One of the chairmen had come up and he started to praise the pastor today and was like, "Hey, I've noticed huge growth over the last couple months with the service and huge growth within yourself. And that was when the pastor told him that while we've been meeting for coffee, we've been sitting down and I've been giving him feedback. So I've been watching and paying attention to the service with a different lens than everybody else that's sitting out there in the pews. And they went off, they had a little bit of a meeting. I went and I hung out with the kids while they were eating their snacks. Both of our kids are really good friends now at this point. It's funny too because Jasper was talking to Alexa last week and said that he was going over his friend's house who's Korean, but the American Korean kind because the pastor is Korean. They all got a kick out of this as well. But before I went to leave, the pastor came up to me and said, "Hey, can we talk to you real quick?" And I look over, and the chairman, and then there's two other gentlemen sitting down in the pews. And I walked over to the pastor. I was like, "Okay, great. I wonder what this could be about." He looked at me dead in my face, and he was like, "How would you feel about a leadership position here at the church?" And the chairman, his name is Dale, was so excited that he jumped up and he told me which position it was that they wanted me to take over. The position that they wanted me to take over was the trustee. And he was like, "Hey, you know, when I first took a leadership position, it was for the music side of things. I wasn't comfortable with it. I didn't really know what I was doing." And I was like, I understand a lot of that. It comes with the growth. What came out of his mouth next was the part that really surprised me because what I thought was just kind of conversations that I was having with the pastor and me growing myself, being able to help and guide somebody who seemingly was a little bit ahead of me. He was giving a lot of that feedback back to some of the individuals in the council that were there. And he said, "You know, I think that this is something that is a calling. I think you do really well in this spot. Now, with that, we're going to be putting you in charge of the bank accounts, the reporting, and all of that." As you know, when he said that, my mind went a couple different directions because I'm like, "Ooh, that's a lot of responsibility." It's a lot of responsibility because I also had the first time that I went to a conference, and there's 3 questions that were asked at the conference that I didn't realize were actually talked about within the church when they do get together. And the district gentleman came down. Those 3 questions were, well, one, I found out how much the budget was. The 3 questions, the first one was, how much of the budget was donated through will? For anybody that does not know, when there's a member at a church, if they do pass as a member of the church and they have it in their will to donate money that can come from the church's funds. The next question was, how many assets has the church acquired the last year? And then the third question was, how many investments is the church involved in the past year? So those second 2 questions kind of threw me through a loop because I didn't think it was something that they actually spoke about. The reason I bring this up is because I have a meeting on Sunday after service to where my name is going to be put on an account that has over $300,000 in it. And over the next couple weeks, through me trying to learn, grow a little bit more myself in one area of life, 2 of the things that we always need in real estate are deals and the money. And I know we've heard this line before. There's a whole lot more that goes into it. But because of working on that growth, because of connecting with the right people, having the right conversations, consistently moving in the direction that I want to be moving in, the opportunity that presented itself solves one of those problems. And this is just an account from one of the churches. We have 2 other that are local. That if I take this position and I move into it and I grow and the church continues to grow with that, there's 2 other churches that are going to have a fund that can be utilized not only to help grow within this community and the things that we are doing, but also on that real estate side. There are individuals that are on the council that have wanted to get into real estate investing. And I'm in a small town, a small area to where it's the same people that are buying up a lot of the buildings. You have to fight tooth and nail with the town to make any sort of progress within real estate in this area. They couldn't even fathom doing anything remotely. They couldn't fathom not being the individual that has to actually purchase outright the property itself and then manage and maintain. And it was very long-winded. But I think there's a lot of importance between going through something like that and the question that Chris asked earlier. I know a few people have answered that question, and for the rest of you, I would urge and implore you, whether it's the rest of tonight, whether it's the rest of this week, whether you have to take 2 weeks, because it is a question worth actually sitting down and thinking about. Work through and understand why. Why real estate? Why co-living? And write it down. Get back to us. Let us know. Maybe I can get Chris to share some of his why if we can get enough people to post theirs. Does that sound like a fair deal, Chris?
I think everyone has heard my why. quite a few times. But I did see Bradley. He said to house the mental. You want to unmute for a second?
Yeah, let me find him real quick here.
Sorry, trying to see if I read that correctly. I'm at a red light, so it works out.
No, you were all good. There he is.
Bradley, you want to speak about your why?
Am I muted now? Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I see a lot of people I know here. Just wanted to say a shout out to Megan and James. Love you guys. Yeah, absolutely. So with my past experience in life, 10% of my net revenue goes towards my non-for-profit, Mas Fortaleza, to house, feed, and clothe the mentally ill and addicted. And that includes the homeless. So that's the whole purpose.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That really is. And out of curiosity, is that something you're going to expand on in regards to all over the world, or are you going to stay like local to that, or what is the overall objective for that?
Well, I'm Canadian, so start in one state and go to the rest because the goal is to
Nice.
reach 1 million people.
Hmm. I love that idea, man. I love that. And if there's any way we can help support that, whatever that looks like, just let us know.
Absolutely. I'm buying co-living in Nashville. So anybody got connections and deals in Nashville, I'm your guy.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And definitely, feel free to reach out. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or just want to.
Absolutely. It has a lot to do with my personal experience with addiction. So
no, I appreciate you being vulnerable there.
yeah.
Thank you. So I think it's Simone. Is it Simone? Yes. Okay. Perfect. Simone, would you like to unmute for a second?
Hello.
I think I'm doing a hell of a job trying to multitask here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and
Yes,
clear.
we can hear you.
Awesome.
Yes. You want to expand on that a little bit? And thanks for being vulnerable with us.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much as far as I would like to share.
Okay.
My daughter is in her early 40s. And since I've been talking about co-living, I'm in the process of AIM. I do underwriting every single day, like as a job without pay. Like, no, that won't work. No, this one won't work. No, this one won't work. Let's look at some more. I'm like addicted to doing the underwriting on it. And I see it happening, but I just need to execute. And she's kind of given me some strength to be able to say, we need to do it together.
Mm.
So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
No,
And
thanks
I
for
wish
sharing.
I could share more, but I kind of shut down, and I wish I didn't, but I do when it comes to that situation.
Understandable.
Very
Yeah.
understandable.
But it's really nice for you to ask me to speak and to actually, I don't want to say care, but be aware. We're not just people here, like everybody's trying to make a buck. Yeah, everybody needs to make a living, right?
Right.
So why not do it in a way that serves?
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Well, we appreciate you being here, and if you ever need an ear, just feel free to reach out. And Jay-Z and I know we shared a couple of our experiences, and not saying ours is even or worse or what that looks like. Everyone in life have their own obstacles they're going through, and it's just up to you how you handle it and how you attack it. And I know for me personally, I had been through hell and back against the wall, from no money to having money and being taken away again. And it's just, it could be a cycle depending on how you remove yourself from the pattern. So again, thank you guys for sharing your, as I call it, uncomfortable situations, but sometimes being transparent and vulnerable with others, you never know what kind of doors that can open. You never know.
Yes, you never know who's in the room. You never know who's listening.
Yeah, because I know for me personally, I can tell you, I'm not for sure if you guys heard a couple months ago. So we had a webinar for my birthday. Well, I'm gonna say, when was the webinar? July 9th for my birthday. Yeah,
Are you sure it was July 9th?
yeah, it was July 9th, and
Okay.
there was a close to about, I want to say 75 to 85 people in that Zoom, and I shared how vulnerable and how I was before I got into real estate. I was the individual specifically. It was hard for me to even communicate with people. It was hard, it was very difficult for me to even ask for help. Very difficult for me to even understand that the opportunities are right in front of me. And I'm going to take about 5 minutes just to share exactly what happened for those who didn't hear. When I was broke when I got into real estate, and I don't use broke loosely. I was broke before before this is actually pre-COVID. I jumped into real estate. And Cody Sperber, I'm not for sure if you guys know who he is. Sperber, clever investor, amazing individual. He's a straight shooter. I love that about him. At the time I was on unemployment. I lost my job due to COVID. So I was collecting unemployment checks. At that specific time, I utilized the few unemployment checks that I received at the time to fly out to Cody Sperber, clever investor. I literally put my account, I believe it was like negative $318 or something. It was negative 300 something dollars just to get there. I didn't know how I was going to get back. I didn't know. Well, let me phrase it. I bought a round trip. However, during the 4 days being there, I had to make it work. I had to make it work. And being at the dinner table with Cody Sperber, Cole Haddock, and amazing other individuals, there's 9 of us at that table. and looking at the menu and looking at the prices, like, damn, I can't even order any of this. I don't see why I'm even here. Everyone here are making either 6 or 7 figures easily, and I'm here in the negative. So at the time, I'm literally messaging my brother to see if he can Apple Pay me some money to eat. He ended up sending me $100. But guys, this is day one. This is day one. No rental. I'm Ubering and taking Lyft still. Back to the hotel. Luckily enough, the bill came. Cody Sperber said, "Hey, everything is on me." I, I, he didn't say at the beginning, "Hey guys, don't worry about it. Eat anything you want or anything like that." I didn't know. If so, I missed the memo. But imagine being at that table, nervous to order food, and you have to text somebody else to even eat. For me personally, that was difficult. I don't ask anybody for shit at the time. I don't. Excuse my language. It's just I came from a place where you had to work for what you want. And I still do work for what I want, but you don't talk about money. You don't talk about any of those things. When day one went by, Cody paid for everything. And to find out, we received the agenda, and he went over the agenda for the next couple of days. I realized everything is actually going to be taken care of. We paid to go out there to see him. He's going to nurture us into like the wholesaling operation, what that looks like specifically. Fast forward, went back home. At the time, I lived in New York. Only made about $5,400 in the real estate atmosphere. I made that within 6 months. I was doing it by myself. I had no. You can't live in. Everyone knows in New York you can't live off of $5,400 in 6 months. It's impossible. It's impossible. So I utilized that $5,400, my first check ever in real estate, and utilize it to join another community where a lot of you guys know who Pace Morby is and Cody Barton at the time. And I joined that community and went to the mastermind. I was on a payment plan. I went to that mastermind. I was in front of 35 people who I knew they were better than me. I don't belong here. I was timid. I was an individual specifically who afraid to ask questions. Always keep their wall up. I always keep a wall up. You can't ask me anything. You cannot ask me anything. If you do ask me anything, I promise you're not going to get the answer that you're looking for. And at the time, they had something called hot seats. And Cody, I'm just going to paint the picture real quick. Imagine being in front of a large room. It's not like a stage or anything, just a large room, a conference room. You got 35 people. You're sitting on a high chair in front of everyone. And all lights are on you. Everyone know how big Pace does it. He's going to have cameras going around. You got one camera facing me. You got two angled at me. Pace is sitting on this couch eating his Chipotle. Cody Barton is standing up on the right. Jamil Danji is sitting down in one of the seats. And also Laura, at the time, she was just breastfeeding in her own little world. So I just wanted to paint the picture. All these individuals are in there. Barton started asking some amazing questions. He specifically asked me, "Hey, Chris, he said, what are you trying to achieve towards the end of the year?" I said at the time, I want to own 8 Airbnbs. He said, "Okay, great. How many do you have in escrow? How many deals do you have in escrow?" At the time, I was wholesaling my ass off. So I had about 6 or 7 faithfully in in escrow. And then he said, "Okay, why you don't take any of those down and buy it and make it to Airbnbs?" My response, I don't know why it silenced the room,
but it did. My response was because I don't have the money. And I hesitated, I stuttered, I even was so nervous to even say that. His response was, Chris, was you not listening the last 24 hours? And I'm like, damn, shit. I could have swore I was listening, like in my head. In my head, I'm saying all this in my head. But out loud, I'm like, I think so. And then that's when he turned to the room. He said, Nina, stand up. Nina Shoop at the time was doing a cash out refi on her house that she just got approved for. Cody said, Nina, how much money do you have to lend Chris on any of his projects? She said $350,000. Eric, stand up. How much do you have to lend on any of Chris's projects? He said 175. He started to call on Aaron, who was next to him. He said, actually, stand up if you're able to lend on any of your projects, if you have anywhere between $50,000 and up. When I say 90% of the room stood up, I was in awe. I was in awe. I was sweating. I'm bald headed, so you can see the sweat coming off my head. I'm like, Jesus Christ, get your act together here. And it got to a point where like the reality hit. It really hit. Like, although you're raised a specific way, that shouldn't ultimately be the outcome of how you live your life. You get to choose how you want to live your life. And I left that day realizing if I would have never opened my mouth, I would not be either probably on this call right now. I probably would have never met a lot of you guys. I probably would have never met Angel and a lot of amazing individuals in my life. But I did speak up. Something told me to speak up and tell them. And that's when I realized being vulnerable, it only hurts one person, and it's yourself. And let's be honest, all of us on this call, we have things that we don't want to talk about. We have a lot of things we don't want to talk about because we probably think others are going to judge us. But in all reality, they don't care. They truly don't care because they have their own flaws or they have their own obstacles they're currently going through. I promise you, if we all unmuted right now and went down the list of things we're all going through, I promise you, we can't judge each other because you never know what someone's going through. That's why the way I live now is the fact of if I say something and someone don't like it, it's fine. Everyone's going to disagree. I mean, not everyone's going to agree with everything you say, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. That's part of life. And understanding agreement, you agree to disagree, that's going to be very common, especially as an entrepreneur. We just had a business meeting not too long ago where we all didn't agree on something, and that's fine. Jay-Z has his own mind. I have my own mind. Angel has her own mind. It's just more so understanding, throwing out each idea and respecting their ideas and understanding exactly which one truly makes sense. They all probably work. Sometimes it may not work. But really understanding that vulnerability is okay would definitely go a long way. Because I didn't realize I had access to a little bit over $1 million when I left that place. With a phone call away. So I want to thank everyone for sharing their story, their vulnerability, who shared. I believe it was Simone and Bradley that shared today. I just want to say thank you. And I know, Pansy, you have shared what you're going through as well in the past. And that takes courage. That's the first step. And I know I said it numerous times, you got to continue to be uncomfortable, putting yourself in uncomfortable. You got to be comfortable putting yourself in uncomfortable positions on a daily basis because that's the only way you're going to grow. If you constantly try to go away from what you're trying to do, it's just going to get worse. You're going to stay in the same position. You're going to wonder why you're still in the same position 6 months from now. Is it a pattern? Is it truly a pattern that you're doing? Not no one else, but you're doing. What change have you made to make the pattern disappear? So I just want to say, Jay-Z and I, we truly thank every last one of you guys for being on today. And you guys are all amazing. And if you don't have my number, I'll give you the burner. No.
Don't forget to reactivate it first, though.
Right. But no, if you guys need anything, just feel free to reach out to us. We're always here to make sure
Yeah.
you don't go through the same obstacles we went through. We went through a lot of things with, especially in the real estate space, from co-living to Airbnbs. We still own small commercial units and all that good stuff. That's great. That is great. We can talk about all that stuff and how to overcome it. But everyone on here have a different objective. Is understanding what's your overall objective and how we can really help you get there. That's all.
Hmm. I know Angel would have really loved this conversation today as well, and it's something that we have talked about in the past. When you are able to, like Chris says, when you're able to open your mouth, when you're able to be vulnerable and you start putting yourself around the right people, those tough conversations that they talk about that you have in business have a whole different meaning. They have a whole different meaning. I almost feel like, and Chris, you could probably correct me if I'm wrong with my feeling on this. Most of the tough conversations that we've had in any one of our meetings, and yes, like Chris said earlier, there are times where we don't all always agree, but we still make a collective decision to move forward with something. But in my humble opinion, most of the tough conversations that we've had up to this point really came down to somebody having to be vulnerable about something. That was the tough conversation. And I put
Absolutely.
air quotes around that for a reason. It's the most difficult thing to do, but I promise you, it'll change your life.
With that being said, guys, we definitely appreciate you guys. I've actually got to get ready. Well, finishing packing. I'm leaving to go to the Bahamas on a cruise. So I leave tomorrow. But if you guys need anything, I make sure my Wi-Fi is connected and all that good stuff. Seriously, feel free to reach out to myself, Angel, or James anytime. We truly want to see the success where you guys in whatever situation you're personally going through. No ifs and buts about that.
Absolutely. Chris, I look forward to seeing you drive by tomorrow with the trunk open so I can run down the street, pop in.
That is hilarious. But I appreciate you guys. Everyone have a great night. Stay safe. And until next time, see you guys next Thursday.
Appreciate you. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and have a blessed weekend.